Welcome to BBC News. I'm David Willis. Our top stories. Hundreds flee the Ukrainian city of Kherson because of intense Russian shelling. We'll have a special report from on the ground. More than 60 people are killed in winter storms across the United States and Canada. President Biden approves emergency funding. Who is George Santos? We'll tell you about the ambitious US politician who seemingly lied his way into Congress. And farewell to the milkman. J.J. Watt, one of American football's greatest ever defensive players, is to retire. Welcome to our viewers on PBS in America and around the globe. We start this hour with a special report from Ukraine, from the southern port of Kherson, which is under increased bombardment from Russian forces, and where today the maternity ward of a hospital was among the places being shelled. Kherson is often called the gateway to Crimea, and because of its strategic importance, it was one of the first places taken by Russian forces at the start of the war. It was liberated last month in a significant gain for Ukrainian troops, but civilians are now living with a daily onslaught of Russian shelling. Well, our correspondent Yogita Lamai has spent the last 4 days in Kherson with colleagues Imogen Anderson, Sanjay Gunlali and Mariana Mativeychuk, and they sent us this very special report, and I should warn you, it does contain some distressing images.
Kherson is being pounded. This is where one of more than 40 mortars fell in a single day. A city haunted by relentless attacks. Another shell hit nearby between a block of homes. As the firemen worked, we heard the sound of more explosions. After a brief pause, they returned to the job, dousing the fire before anyone was hurt. Down the road, we found people in a panic. Punish the Russians for their crimes, punish them their whole lives, a woman cried. They'd just seen a neighbor's home being bombed. She had to be rescued from the debris. Over and over, this cycle repeats. The day before, 56-year-old Serhiy Breshun was killed here while he was sleeping. We met his mother, Tamara. Said he was her only child.
I must have felt something would go wrong that morning, because I urged him to wake up and leave the house. But he didn't, and that was it. Our lives are ruined.
She'd come to look for Serhiy's passport amidst the rubble. A document to release his body from the morgue. We barely finished the conversation, and there's more bombing.
Where do you live?
More started.
This is a picture of what's happening literally every single day in multiple locations. This is the constant sound that we hear in Kherson of artillery fire being exchanged. This city is essentially now pretty much, on the front line, close to the river, which has become the de facto front line in the south. Behind me actually is where an explosion took place just over an hour ago. 5 people were killed here, 20 were injured. Every single day there are people being killed in this city.
6 more died later. Ordinary people out at the central market, at a spot where just last month they'd celebrated being freed from Russian control. Surviving in Kherson is a matter of chance. Victoria Yarushko, a Red Cross volunteer, was killed just outside this base, a few feet from safety. In the underground shelter, Her mother Ludmila showed us the Medal of Honor she was given.
Очень больно, очень. Я рада, что
I'm
она
very
столько
happy she
помогала
helped a
и
lot of
детям,
people.
помогала и
She was so
детям. Мне
kind,
очень
but
больно
it's
было
also
ставить
painful for me.
деток.
I must recover and raise her 2 children. I tell them they should be proud of their mother because she is a hero.
Victoria's son Sasha and his sister live here, clearly comfortable with other volunteers. War and loss bind them together. Dmytro Rakitsky was Victoria's friend.
When someone so close dies, it is difficult. But if we give up and stop, then her death will have been in vain. We work to make sure people live. Everything else is secondary.
The bombs don't stop. While he waits for emergency calls, he checks if his wife and children are okay. Then he heads out to evacuate those in need.
In the few days that we've been here, we've seen the sentiment of relief that there was in the city after it was liberated from Russian control in November change very quickly to one of fear and terror. When the Russians withdrew, they pulled back to the other side of the Dnipro River, and that's where they're continuously bombarding the city from.
Hundreds have begun to leave Kherson. These roads leading out had been clear till Christmas.
What, have you been affected by the shelling? Can you describe?
We asked Irina Antonenko why she was going.
We stayed this whole time and thought it would pass. But when the home next to ours and my father's home was hit, it was too scary.
At the train station, a mother and 3 daughters, carrying all they can in small bags and boxes. It's very difficult to leave. I love Ukraine and my dear city, but we have to get out of here somehow now, Elena Selivanova told us. She doesn't know when she might see these friends again. Everyone in this city has a painful choice to make. Yogita Lamay, BBC News, Kherson.
The sad plight of the embattled city of Kherson there.